English medium, not in English medium. So I pronounce certain terms in Hindi only. But my friends, many of you may be comfortable now, even with English, no problem at all. Now my friends, your questions are multiple choice questions, and you people have so far just shown or reflected very meticulous achievement in question answering session. Particularly in this session you have performed very well previously. Even today can I expect you to answer all these questions. Be fast my friends. Treaty of Madras was associated with which of the following wars? If I say first Carnatic War, the first Anglo-Mysore War, the second Carnatic War, the first Anglo-Maratha War. Be fast. B for Bombay. First Anglo-Mysore War. Yes, definitely correct answer. Question number 2. What was where the regions behind the rift between the British Company and Nawab of Bengal, Mir Qasim? This question belongs to the issue of Bengal. What was where the regions behind the rift between the British Company and Nawab of Bengal, Mir Qasim? Point 1. Nawab Mir Qasim expressed discontent with the misuse of Dastak. To Nawab Mir Qasim wanted to be an independent ruler of Bengal. Point 3. Nawab Mir Qasim, along with the Dutch, was planning to drive the British out of Bengal. So there are 3 statements, my friends. You people have selected one of them. Twice A, 1 only, B, 1 and 2, C, 2 and 3, and that is D, 1, 2 and 3. So my friends, please be fast. B for Bombay. 1 and 2, yes. You are 100% correct. You are performing very well. It is up to my expectation, or sometimes even beyond my expectation. Question number 3. Which of the following treaties were related to the first Anglo-Maratha War? Point 1 Treaty of Surat, point 2 Treaty of Purandar, point 3 Treaty of Sarbai, and point 4 Treaty of Basic. Be fast, my friends. Be fast, please. Yeah, again. B for Bombay. Yes, correct. Correct. Guys, B is the correct answer. You are correct, my friend. Point number 4. Question number 4. Which of the following was not the outcome of Bengal conquest or conquest of Bengal? A. The British Company increased the rate of land revenue in Bengal. Point B. The British Company established their monopoly over the trade. Point C. The British Company imported large quantities of British industrial goods in Bengal. Or point D. The British Company exported large quantities of goods from Bengal. My friends, there are the 4 choices, and one of the choices is wrong. You are supposed to find out one of the wrong choices. So please be fast. The British Company imported large quantity of British industrial goods in Bengal. Yes. My students are very well. My students are definitely, very brilliant students you are, and you have selected the right choice and correct choice. It is a matter of choice for me. Question number 5, the last one. The Battle of Saint Thome took place between, twice A, the British Company and the French Company, twice B, the British Company and the Karnataka, twice C, the British Company and the Hyderabad, twice number D, the British Company and Karnataka. Here, my friends, there are the 2 terms. This is better to write Carnatic. It is pronounced Carnatic. That is a better substitute. Carnatic. My friends, once again try to recall. You people are having the knowledge. I am confirmed. You are well informed about the choice. So don't get disheartened. Once again, choose the right answer. Go through the question again. You people are having the knowledge. I have taught you earlier. The famous Battle of Saint Thome. It was a landmark event. And about the landmark event I mentioned. Yes. B is the correct answer. The French Company. Actually, I have given you the story. You may recall. This was the time Anwaruddin was the Nawab of Carnatic, and French governor Dupleix. Whenever he captured Madras in the first Carnatic War, then the government of Carnatic under Anwaruddin, it just issued an ordinance to vacate Madras by the French Company. But French Company refused to comply with the order. So Anwaruddin, the Nawab of Carnatic, sent a military contingent of 10,000 soldiers under Mahfuz Khan, but he was defeated by a smaller contingent under Captain Paradise in the famous Battle of Saint Thome. So the Battle of Saint Thome became a landmark event in history. So you people are 100% correct. मतलब मैंने आपको बताया था कि छोटी सी फ्रेंच आर्मी ने जैसे 10,000 की महफूज खान की आर्मी को डिफीट किया था सेंट टोमे के बैटल में, तो सेंट टोमे का बैटल एक लैंडमार्क इवेंट है. Yes, my friends, very good. Now I have to move further. So we are just starting now. You have done extremely well, and you have corrected 5 out of 5 answers. All the 5 answers are correct answers. Now I am once again telling you further. So my friends, in the previous class, we are talking about the Lord Dalhousie. So the Lord Dalhousie, previously I have told you, in fact, this was Lord Dalhousie, this was Lord Wellesley. So it was Lord Wellesley, I have told you, he followed the method of wars. And about the methods of wars, you can say. But once again, I am repeating my own pattern of teaching first. I have told you, in fact, for the sake of convenience, we have divided modern history in four parts: the history of 18th century, the history of colonialism, the history of nationalism, and the history of post-independence era. My friends, I am giving you the advice very seriously. You people have to develop an integrated approach for the study. You will not make a study of the chapters separately. So, for example, we have just covered the topic, the history of 18th century, then we have started the history of colonialism, and even the history of colonialism has to be subdivided into three segments. So, the first segment is what? That is the mercantile phase or the commercial phase of colonialism, or the mercantile phase of colonialism. And it is here, I have explained here, you people have to keep in your mind a single one definition. Basically, colonialism is basically an economic relation, but it was going to affect the political, social, and cultural structure as well. So first of all, we are following a diagram, and in this diagram, we have highlighted the colonial motive. मतलब पहले हम लोग diagram को follow करते हैं. आप लोग diagram को कभी miss मत करना. Integrated approach को कभी miss नहीं करना. In this diagram, you find what is the specified objective. A specified objective is to collect the maximum amount of revenue from Bengal, or maximize the collection of revenue in Bengal, and a substantial part of revenue had to be invested in trade and commerce. So as this amount has to be collected in the larger quantity, and a major part has to be invested into trade and commerce. So my friends, here you are informed about the fact actually the British policy was to save as much money as possible, so that a major part would be invested in trade. So keeping this objective in the mind, they prefer to fight less number of wars and to annex less number of regions. So the objective of the British company was to avoid the war and annexation as much as possible. But it was simply about objective. But it was not a reality. In reality, the company had to make a compromise with the situation, and with the purpose of promoting its commercial interest, it had to fight several wars and conclude some treaties and even annex some region whenever required. तो यहाँ आपको ध्यान ये रखना है कि कंपनी का ऑब्जेक्टिव यह था कि हम वॉर और अनेक्सेशन को जहां तक अवॉइड कर सके वहां अच्छा है. लेकिन कंपनी इस बात को अच्छी तरह जानती थी कि हम वॉर और annexation को completely avoid नहीं कर सकते, हमें कुछ war और annexation करना पड़ेगा. So whenever I will compare this situation with the situation during subsequent phase, you know, at the industrial phase of colonialism, then the things will be crystal clear for you. So what was the difference between the two, the mercantile phase of colonialism and industrial phase of colonialism? So things will be crystal clear for you in future. Here I have just talked about the method of war. The method of war, you can say, it is Lord Wellesley had to follow this policy first. Lord Wellesley, method of war. What is the method of war? So just observe here. The first war is the Fourth Anglo-Mysore War, which I have already discussed with you in 1799 with Tipu Sultan. So I think to this point is crystal clear to you. Then I have to discuss about the second one, point number 2. That is Second Anglo-Maratha War. Anglo-Maratha War. This had to take place in 1803 to 1805, and here you find the several treaty. It started with the Treaty of Basin. It started with the Treaty of Basin. Then you know, Treaty of Basin means 31st December 1802. Then you find after Treaty of Basin, then you have to find out if you people will like, even we can mention about the Treaty of Devgaon and Treaty of Surji-Arjangaon. The Treaty of Devgaon was signed with Bhosle later, and Treaty of Surji-Arjangaon with Scindia. But finally, this battle had to end. This battle had to be finished with the Treaty of Rajpur Ghat with Holkar, Yashwantrao Holkar. If you will like, we can mention even the Treaty of Devgaon and that of Surji-Arjangaon. So better to mention Treaty of Devgaon. That had to be concluded with the Bhosle, 1803. Then Treaty of Surji-Arjangaon, and that is 1803. And this treaty was concluded with Scindia. And then finally, the Treaty of Rajpur Ghat. This Treaty of Rajpur Ghat. This is in 1805, and this treaty had to be signed with Holkar. So my friends, I have to brief a story about the Second Anglo-Maratha War, because it was during this war, you know, finally the backbone of Maratha power was broken in this war, what you know as the Second Anglo-Maratha War. The story starts in the manner. Up to the end of 18th century, all the visionary leaders of Marathas simply passed away. In 1894, Mahatma Scindia died. In 1794, Mahatma Scindia passed away. In 1795, it was Peshwa Madhav II who almost committed suicide. In 1799, Tukoji Holkar died. And in 1800, finally, you know, it was Nana Fadnavis who was the Prime Minister in the court of Peshwa. He was dead. In this way, the all important Maratha leaders with a vision, or visionary leaders, all of them were just a matter of past now. So the second generation of leadership was not competent. The successor of Peshwa Madhav II was Bajirao II. The successor of Mahatma Scindia was Daulat Rao Scindia. And the successor of Tukoji Holkar was Yashwantrao Holkar. They were not the competent or visionary leaders. So gradually they could have created a situation which was beneficial for the British in future. मतलब मैंने आपको बताया कि जितने भी इंपॉर्टेंट लीडर्स थे, महाजी सिंधिया, तुकोजी होलकर, नाना फडणवीस, पेशवा माधव II, सबका डेथ हो गया. और जो सेकंड जनरेशन ऑफ लीडरशिप है वो कॉम्पिटेंट नहीं है. तो दौलत राव सिंधिया बेसिकली he was slightly ambitious and he was planning to have the control or have the influence, or you can say to assert his hegemony over Peshwa Bajirao II. So almost a rivalry started between Yashwantrao Holkar and Daulat Rao Sindhia in order to assert his hegemony over Pune. In fact, both Daulat Rao Sindhia and Yashwantrao Holkar was vying with each other to create his influence over Pune and Peshwa Bajirao II. So finally it was Daulat Rao Sindhia who outwit Yashwantrao Holkar, and he could have won Peshwa Bajirao II to his side, or Yashwantrao Holkar was isolated. In the meantime, with connivance of Peshwa Bajirao II, Daulat Rao Sindhia could assassinate the younger brother of Yashwantrao Holkar. His name was Bithuji. Yashwantrao Holkar was now quite outrageous, and being a rowdy leader, he could invade Pune, and he defeated the combined army of Peshwa as well as Daulat Rao Sindhia. मतलब हुआ ऐसा कि पहले यशवंतराव होलकर और दौलत राव सिंधिया ये दोनों यह जा रहे थे कि हम पेशवा के कोर्ट पर अपना इन्फ्लुएंस, अपना प्रभाव बना दें. उसमें दौलत राव सिंधिया सफल रहा और दौलत राव सिंधिया ने पेशवा पर अपना प्रभाव क्षेत्र कायम कर लिया. और फिर पेशवा और दौलत राव सिंधिया ने मिलकर यशवंतराव होलकर छोटे भाई बिट्ठू जी की हत्या कर दी. तो बिट्ठू जी was assassinated. So now Yashwantrao Holkar became retaliatory and he invaded Pune, and he could defeat the combined army of Peshwa Bajirao II as well as that of Daulat Rao Sindhia, and captured Pune. So Yashwantrao Holkar captured Pune, and then he reinstated on the throne a puppet Peshwa, that was Vinayaka. So now Bajirao II was deprived from Pune. He fled away from Pune, and he was not having any asylum to live in. So finally he started to knock at the door of the British company, and British company had already been waiting for this opportune moment when the British company could have intervened into the internal matter of Maratha Confederacy. So this opportunity just came, and particularly Lord Wellesley was a thoroughly imperialistic Peshwa, or imperialistic governor general. So he was having an imperialistic outlook, and Lord Wellesley just decided to make benefit from the situation. So Lord Wellesley signed a treaty with Peshwa Bajirao II, and that is known as the Treaty of Basin, and this treaty was signed on 31st December 1802. So this Treaty of Basin was just a subsidiary creation of a subsidiary alliance. It was a subsidiary treaty. On the basis of this treaty, the Peshwa Bajirao II was compelled to accept a British regiment at Pune. British regiment means a British army. And apart from that, a British resident means political advisor to his court. So even his foreign policy had to be conducted at the advice of British resident. Apart from that, he had to give promise he will never employ any foreigner without the prior permission of the British company. And in return, you can say, this Peshwa was supposed to give 26 lakhs rupees per annum to the British company. So this treaty was signed, and in order to sanctify this treaty, Lord Wellesley, the younger brother of Arthur Wellesley was the younger brother of Lord Wellesley. He was a military talent, and he was a very talented person. For your kind information, it was Arthur Wellesley who will later evolve into a great personality in Europe, and that would be Duke of Wellington. This Duke of Wellington was such an illustrious figure. He's enjoying the credit to have defeated Napoleon Bonaparte in the Battle of Waterloo finally. And in the end, he even became the British Prime Minister. A very talented guy he was. So he, just with the British army, he could restore Peshwa Bajirao II to Pune again, and then he deployed a British regiment in Pune. So my students, in this way, Bajirao II was restored in Pune again. But in fact, it was disturbing for the other factions of Maratha Confederacy, because other factions of Maratha Confederacy started to explain the situation in a very different manner. Other factions of Maratha Confederacy bitterly realized that after all, the British, while belying and while you can say undermining the Treaty of Basin, the British company finally intervened into the internal matter of Maratha Confederacy. It is on this basis they were putting a point of objection to the Treaty of Basin. मतलब मराठा कॉन्फेडरेसी के जो बाकी घटक थे, बाकी फैक्शन थे, तो उनका कहना था कि जब आर्थर वेलेस्ली ने फिर आकर पेशवा बाजीराव II को पुणे में रिस्टोर कर दिया, इसका मतलब है कि पहले जो ट्रीटी हुई थी, ट्रीटी ऑफ बेसिन, उसकी कुल मिला के ट्रीटी ऑफ सालबाई, जिसमें प्रॉमिस किया गया था कि ब्रिटिश मराठा कॉन्फेडरेसी के इंटरनल मैटर में इंटरवीन नहीं करेंगे, लेकिन ब्रिटिश ने फिर इंटरवीन कर दिया. दे वर हैविंग द पॉइंट ऑफ ऑब्जेक्शन हियर. So that's why you can say that they started the military preparation against the British. But even during this critical juncture, all the factions or all the, you can say, families of Marathas could not form a joint front. They failed to form a joint front because Scindia and Bhosle, because Peshwa Bajirao II already signed this Treaty of Basin, and he was a British ally under compulsion. Although from the bottom of heart he was representing the situation, but now it was out of control for him. He could do nothing. So leave just Bajirao II, and even you should leave Gaekwar of Baroda, because Gaekwar of Baroda was a British puppet, or you can say a friendly country to the company. So Baroda's Gaekwar was not taking interest into the Maratha matters now. To leave him. So there were three other factions of Maratha Confederacy: was Bhosle, Scindia, Daulat Rao, as well as Yashwantrao Holkar. But they could not form the joint front. Bhosle and Scindia, they formed the joint front, though both of them combined together. But Yashwantrao Holkar refused to join the alliance. And Yashwantrao Holkar decided to carry the war alone. And he just started the war against the British alone. On the other hand, you can say the British company just formed two commands. One northern command under Lord Lake, and southern command under Arthur Wellesley. So southern command under Arthur Wellesley gradually defeated the army of Scindia and Bhosle one by one. And then Scindia and Bhosle were almost defeated up to 1803. But the war started in 1803, and within some months, Scindia and Bhosle were defeated. Yet you have to keep in your mind here, my friends, you have to be mentally conscious. You may recall one thing. There was a time the Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II was just a British prisoner at Kara. And he was waiting at Kara, but it was Mahaji Scindia who had carried him to Delhi and restored him on the throne of Delhi. Its symbolic meaning was that now the Mughal Emperor fell under Maratha patronage instead of the British patronage. You may recall this incident took place in 1772. Here I have to inform you, in 1786, in the meantime, some mishappening occurred in Delhi. In spite of the best of the efforts of Mahaji Scindia, he could not give the 100% safety to this Shah Alam II, and his wazir was, the name of his wazir was Imadul Mulk Jalta Khan. So he, making benefit from the situation, someday he invaded Delhi and blinded the king. The king was virtually, you can say, blinded. And he was thrown into jail. But once again, Mahaji Scindia invaded Delhi, expelled Imadul Mulk Jalta Khan from Delhi again, and restored the king on the throne, but he was a blind king now. But it was, Shah Alam II, who was the Mughal emperor, at least in name in Delhi, and he was under Maratha patronage in 1803. But when Second Anglo-Maratha War started, in the meantime, the Northern Command under Lord Lake, so he defeated Scindia's army in Delhi, because Scindia's already deployed an army in Delhi for the protection of Mughal emperor, but Scindia's army was almost routed by Lord Lake, and Lord Lake captured Delhi and Agra. So symbolic meaning is that he once again, Mughal emperor, came under the control of the British company, and it was put under the control of the British company, and it came out of the hand of Marathas. But he was a blind king now, and I'm recalling my friends during the lockdown period. There is a very reputed journalist cum historian, William Dalrymple. He has composed a famous text, Anarchy. And William Dalrymple, he is a British historian, and basically he believes in the history, he believes in narrative in history. So from time to time he is composing a text, and in every text he is just making some personality, because his text was normally the personality based, some personality as a global icon. For example, in 2005, he composed a text, The Last Mughal. And in his history text, Last Mughal, it was Bahadur Shah Zafar, who was the global icon. Then in 2012, I am recalling, he composed a text, composed a book, and its name was The King of Afghanistan. So Shah Shuja was the international, he was a global icon at that time. And in Anarchy, it was Shah Alam II was a global icon. But I am recalling this pathetic scene. He had mentioned how did Imadul Mulk Jalta Khan invaded Delhi, how did he blind the king, how the members of his family, the women, etc., they were in wretched condition, and how they were ill-treated by Imadul Mulk Jalta Khan. So on that night, I was really disturbed while going through this book. Although he mentioned reality, because he had given reference to a number of sources and authentic sources, but I was disturbed at the phenomena. It happened to the Mughal emperor, there was a time he used to be the Badshah of whole of Hindustan, but now this Mughal emperor was at the mercy of, sometime at the mercy of the British, sometime at the mercy of Maratha, sometime at the mercy of his own wazir, and he could not even give protection to the lady of his family, who was ill-treated by Imadul Mulk Jalta Khan. Anyway, my point is, so in this way, in 1893, so Scindia and Bhosle were completely routed. I have mentioned about the fact that Bhosle was compelled to sign the Treaty of Devgaon with the British in 1883. It was a subsidiary treaty. Likewise, even Scindia signed the Treaty of Surji-Arjangaon in 1885. Even it was a subsidiary treaty. But Yashwantrao Holkar carried his war at his own, and British made several efforts to defeat him, but British could not defeat him, in spite of the best of the efforts. And in the last event, got aligned with the Jat ruler of Bharatpur, and along with Jat ruler of Bharatpur, he carried a continuous war against the British. And when Lord Lake tried to encircle him and his fort, along with Jat King, he didn't get success. In the meantime, now this war was long drawn out, and the war was overstressed. And I have told you, the main British objective was at that time to avoid the war and annexation as much as possible, so that more and more money could be saved in order to invest the money in trade. I have told you earlier. So this was the British objective. But as he had continuously waged the extravagant war, Lord Wellesley waged the extravagant war, and there was, you can say, bundles of money were spent over the war. So finally, the companies turned to be a pauper. It was not in a position to carry its investment. So Lord Wellesley just sent a letter, I can say, demanded from the London Authority and Court of Directors to send some money to India for carrying the war. So now Court of Directors was upset, and he recalled Lord Wellesley from India in 1805. And my friends, and then George Barlow was a senior member of his council, Governor General's Council, because at that time there were 3 members in Governor General's Council. So George Barlow was a senior member. So for time being, he was promoted to the post of Governor General. And it was George Barlow who finally signed the Treaty of Rajput Ghat with Yashwantrao Holkar. So thus ended the Second Anglo-Maratha War. So thus this story ended. So my friends, here in this way this war ended. So 2 wars I have mentioned about. So both the wars ended, and Lord Wellesley was the protagonist of both the wars. But after that, the Maratha power, or the backbone of Maratha power, was just broken. But the second policy was, and this policy was subsidiary alliance system. Subsidiary. Subsidiary alliance system. What is alliance? Here I have to mention. If you are talking about the seats of the subsidiary alliance, at least the seats of the subsidiary alliance were shown in course of the Treaty of Awadh itself. Because when the British company signed the Treaty of Awadh, कह सकते हो कि सब्सिडियरी अलायंस का जो बीज है, तो द सीड्स ऑफ सब्सिडियरी अलायंस वर शोन इन द treaty of Awadh itself. What happened? It happened that it is subsidiary alliance. Here I have informed you. It is alliance, the seats in the sense, when Robert Clive signed a treaty with Awadh, so there was a provision. If any third party will invade Awadh, then British company will extend its support to Awadh. In return, the Awadh would be liable to pay the expenditure of the war. In this way, the seats of subsidiary alliance were shown there. But if someone is going to ask you who started subsidiary alliance system formally, so my friends, you will choose that is Lord Wellesley, none else. Although some elements were visible even at the time of Lord Cornwallis. For example, in 1787, the Lord Cornwallis signed a treaty with Carnatic state. And in this treaty, the foreign policy of Carnatic state was subordinated to the company's government. So, there was some elements, but formally this treaty started under Lord Wellesley. So you have to keep in your mind, Lord Wellesley was the real protagonist of the subsidiary alliance. Yes, Mr. Ankur. Subsidiary alliance. Subsidiary alliance. Actually, my friends, so far as I have mentioned all the events of the war, and what were the events, I have told you, in fact, this one I have mentioned about this Second Anglo-Maratha War and some treaties. So I have consciously avoided their making flowchart because what were the incidents? So incidents you will not remember. Normally you will forget the incidents. And from men's point of view, this commercial phase is not so much important for you. But overall making the structure as well as doing the question and beliefs, that is important. But so far as the question of subsidiary alliance is concerned, so here I have to make you one thing. Subsidiary alliance, extension of the policy of ring fence. This is what? The extension of the policy of ring fence. What is this? Yeah, this was the extension of the policy of ring fence. The policy of ring fence started in this period to encircle your enemy states with your friendly states. This was the policy of extension of the policy of ring fence. Up here you know what were the provisions. The provisions you have to make you clear. The provisions. A British regiment payment for the army British resident means political advisor. What is the difference between a regiment and resident? Regiment is basically a military contingent and resident means a political advisor. So here you can say the British resident means the political advisor. British resident means a British regiment payment for the army, a British resident. No foreigner would be allowed. My student, there were 4 clear-cut provisions. First provision is that if you have signed a subsidiary alliance, so a British regiment had to be deployed in your region and your army would be demobilized. But you are liable to pay for the regiment. So that's why the point number second is the payment for the army. In short point you can keep in your mind, the payment for the army. Then a British regiment had to be deployed to your court and deployed to the court of the state concerned. What was the work and what was the responsibility of the British regiment? The British regiment had to advise you in conducting foreign policy. तो ब्रिटिश रेजिडेंट विल एडवाइज द स्टेट कंसर्न इन कंडक्टिंग फॉरेन पॉलिसी, मतलब कि आपका जो फॉरेन पॉलिसी है वो उस रेजिडेंट के एडवाइस से चलेगा. एंड द नेक्स्ट वन, यू कैन नॉट एम्प्लॉय एनी फॉरेन नेशनल विदाउट द प्रायर परमिशन ऑफ द ब्रिटिश कंपनी. The British company here extend its authority on you. You are not having the sovereign power to employ anybody without British permission, particularly foreign national. So they are the 4 clear-cut provisions. Fifth one provision you can say, although in theory, the British company was not having any right to intervene into the internal matter of the state concerned. In the internal matter, the company was not enjoying the right to intervene into. But in practice, there was contravention of the rule, and time and again, the company used to intervene even in internal matter. But in theory, there was not such a provision. So 4 clear-cut provisions are that. Now we can say, how beneficial for the company. How beneficial for the company. You can ask me the question, how did it become beneficial for the company? How did it become beneficial for the company? I'm making clear that a big and a strong army big and strong army, a big and strong army at the cost of Indian states. मतलब a big or a strong army could have been created at the cost of the Indian states. This was the one profit, one benefit for the company. Foreign policy was mortgaged. The foreign policy of Indian states was simply mortgaged by the company. Means Indian states could not conduct their foreign policy independently. Now they had to work at the tune of the British company. Note. French influence would have been checked as French influence would have been checked as no foreign national was allowed. No foreign national was allowed. My friend, here you are given the information. Actually, you will find here the clear-cut 3 benefits. I am going to ask you the question. How did it become beneficial for the British company? So first of all, एक आपने कहावत सुनी होगी दूसरे के सिर पर नारियल फोड़ना. The British company could have created such a large army, the largest army in India, you can say, and for this army, who is making payment? Not the company, but Indian states. So the company could have created a larger army at the cost of the Indian states. It was a win-win situation for the company. And secondly, now Indian states could not have conducted the independent foreign policy. The Indian foreign policy was mortgaged. So company could extend its influence, British company, and no French company could be allowed in other countries. The third one point, that the foreign nationals were not allowed to be employed by the state concerned, or the state who was bound through subsidiary alliance without the prior permission of the British company. So it almost became clear. Now, the French could not extend its influence, their influence. मतलब ये बात क्लियर कट हो गई कि पहली बात है कि आपने एक आर्मी बनाई और आर्मी बड़ी स्ट्रॉन्ग आर्मी बनेगी, लेकिन उसका कॉस्ट कौन बियर कर रहा है? उसका कॉस्ट बियर कर रहा है इंडियन स्टेट्स. दूसरा आप देख रहे हैं कि फॉरेन पॉलिसी किसी का इंडिपेंडेंट नहीं रहने दिया, सबको अपने कब्जे में कर लिया. और तीसरा देख रहे हैं कि फॉरेन पॉलिसी फॉरेन नेशनल को कोई एम्प्लॉय कर ही नहीं सकता बिना ब्रिटिश के प्रायोरिटी परमिशन के. इसका क्या मतलब हुआ? इसका मतलब यह हुआ फ्रेंच दाल आप नहीं करने वाला. It was having the free hand. Now my friends, here I am stopping. Now I am placing one question and you people will respond. Whether you people will try this question or I have to discuss this question. If you people will take responsibility, yes, I will try this question. So then I will wait for the next class, and when you people will write, then I will discuss this question. What would have been the direction of the question? So my friends, I am placing the question here. Ankur, you will inform me what their response. Subsidiary alliance. Subsidiary alliance. Alliance would transform the British company. The British company from the status of a power in India to that of a power of India. Examine the statement. Examine the statement. Mr. Anku, just ask them. Is the question clear? Are my friends clear about the question? Once again, I am repeating the question. The subsidiary alliance could transform the British company from the status of a power in India to a power of India. Examine the statement. Are my friends clear about the question? Anku, ask them. My friends, be fast or inform me. Are they clear? I'll ask them. Will they prefer to answer the question at their own first? Then I'll discuss the question. You will try? Yes, subsidiary alliance. My friends, keep your mind. And just you will start the question and just try to find out the central idea of the question and try to answer the question. Start the question, write the body part and conclusion point. but even you can use the point or short paragraph or use the point in answering question. So my friends, just try at your best. Okay. Our last one is Earl of Minto, but it is simply a courtesy because no war. Earl of Minto. So no war took place at his time, 1807 to 30. No war, cross. But his period is known for the Treaty of Amritsar, which was signed with Ranjit Singh, Sikh ruler, in 1809. But I will discuss this phenomenon later when I will teach you the Sikh in industrial phase. With Ranjit Singh, I will discuss. So my student, now if you will return on the diagram again, so in this diagram, this point is over, and now we have to move to this point, administrative policy. What was the British administrative policy at that time? The British administrative policy at that time was to maintain the old Mughal structure with certain modification. The British company was mainly interested in bringing reforms in land revenue system because it had the basic objective was to maximize the collection of the revenue. So that's why they have to maximize the collection of revenue. So they preferred to bring certain reforms in revenue system. And as what you know as the civil justice, so that was intrinsically and deeply associated with the revenue system. So that's why they even tried to bring some reforms in civil justice. And as they had to make reforms in civil justice, so they will obviously you can make reforms in criminal justice. So mainly they brought the reforms in रेवेन्यू सिस्टम एंड जुडिशियल सिस्टम. मतलब इस समय ब्रिटिश ने पुराने मुगल प्रशासनिक ढांचे को ही कुछ परिवर्तनों के साथ बनाए रखा. उन्होंने अगर परिवर्तन लाने की कोशिश की, रिफॉर्म्स लाने की कोशिश किया, तो सिर्फ या तो राजस्व व्यवस्था में, रेवेन्यू सिस्टम में, या फिर जुडिशियल सिस्टम में. लेकिन माय स्टूडेंट्स, वी हैव टू बी केयरफुल अबाउट द फैक्ट दैट देयर इज वन एक्सेप्शन. एंड हु इज द एक्सेप्शन? लॉर्ड कॉर्नवालिस वाज अ स्लाइट एक्सेप्शन, बिकॉज़ व्हेन लॉर्ड कॉर्नवालिस वाज सेंट टू इंडिया इन 1786, एट दैट टाइम द ब्रिटिश ऑलरेडी लॉस्ट अमेरिका. The British already lost America in 1783 on the basis of the Treaty of Paris. So after losing America, now the Britain was concentrating over India, because now India became the most precious jewel in the British crown. Earlier, America was the most precious jewel in British crown, but now it was replaced by India. So Lord Cornwallis just introduced so many reforms in order to strengthen its grip over India. So that's why you find the slightly more reforms under Lord Cornwallis. Otherwise, you'll find that limited reforms. But my students, once I'm going to finish this part, the mercantile phase, and you will move to the industrial phase, then more and more things will be clear to you. So I'm now making the administrative reforms. Here we are supposed to mention only three characters. Robert Clive. In Robert Clive you find one. Diarchy in Bengal. Diarchy in Bengal. Increment and larger increment in rate of revenue. Warren Hastings. Take over the administration of Bengal. After takeover, revenue reforms. In revenue reforms you find the standardization of duties, farming system in land revenue. Judicial reforms. Formation of courts, judicial courts, and codification of laws. That is Warren Hastings. First, I make it clear. After making the diagram, I have to discuss each and every assessments. Then Lord Cornwallis. Police reforms. Civil services reforms. judiciary reforms. And land revenue system. In land revenue system, you can see permanent settlement. Permanent settlement. My students, here I am making clear. Just to come to this point. Firstly, Robert Klein. My students, Robert Klein. Actually, after Treaty of Allahabad, he was given the status of the Nawab, he was given the status of the governor of Bengal. Actually, he was having the choice to take the administration of Bengal into his hand. But after getting the Diwani of Bengal, he was for time being avoided taking the administration of Bengal into his hand. And what did he establish? That is known as diarchy. Diarchy in Bengal. You may be a bit curious what is diarchy. Here I am making clear. I have told you earlier. Actually, under Mughal there was a Suba administration. Actually, Mughal provincial administration was called Suba administration. Okay. So in Suba administration, the Mughal kings was always preferred to have the better control over the Suba administration. So the Mughal king and the Mughal monarch used to appoint two officers of equivalent status in Suba so that the both should have made a check and balance against each other. So who were those officers? One was the Subadar. Second one was provincial Diwan. So both were at equivalent status. Subadar was for general administration and Diwan was for collection of revenue as well as presiding over the civil justice. So this was the duty of Diwan. So my students, you come to know that from Mughal Badshah Shah Alam II, the British company formally, as you can say, de jure status, got the status of the Diwani of Bengal. Now the British company gained the Diwani of Bengal. So company became the Diwan. While the Nijamat, Subadar means that is called Subadar and Subadar was called Najim as well. Najim. So this was called Nijamat as well, means the administrative rights. Administrative rights were at that time being enjoyed by the Nawab of Bengal, that was Najm-ud-Dawla, the son of Mir Jafar. British was in a position to expel him from the post. He was just a puppet Nawab, but British maintained him. And what is diarchy? Here I have to make you clear. The company was enjoying Diwani. It is not diarchy. Diarchy was the fact. Actually, it was the time Robert Clive did some sort of machination. He created a post of a Deputy Nawab or Deputy Najim. Deputy Najim or Deputy Nawab. And on the post of Deputy Najim, only that person, just 1 minute. A post of Deputy Najim was created. Uncle, be conscious and you will ask from them any difficulty. If there is post creation of the post of the Deputy Najim. And the actual power of Najim or Nawab was, just you can say, this post of Nawab was divested from all the actual power. And the power was just devolved to the post of Deputy Najim. The power was taken from the post of the Najim, and the post of Najim was divested of all power. And the actual power was given to the post of Deputy Najim. And on the post of Deputy Najim, only that person had to be employed, for whom the British company will give the advice. I'll clear. The British company will advise a person, he should be appointed on the post of Deputy Najim, he will be Deputy Najim, and he will enjoy the actual power. The Nawab would be simply a puppet, a de jure head, or Deputy Najim, the de facto head. Yeah. Same. Ansika same. You can call Nawab, you can call Najim. Actually, Anglo-Maratha rivalry made the British make a compromise with other powers here. And Anglo-Maratha rivalry, that is another type of question. I think my students from general studies point of view, this question is not important. But still, you have asked this question, so I can give the reply. But it is not contextual. Presently, I am just, you can say, making you understand here, my student, that is diarchy. I will get diverted. So some time or somewhere, I will just discuss this aspect with you. Let me finish it first. And if you are having some confusion pertaining to this question or pertaining to this topic, then ask this question here, please. Here, my point is, yes. Here, in this context, I am mentioning Najim and Nawab are same. So this post of Deputy Nawab or Deputy Najim was created, and he was enjoying actual power. But for this post, only that person was given recommendation. Only that person could be appointed, for whom the recommendation was given by the British company. The British company used the administrative power or Nijamat power or administrative power indirectly. So in the eyes of, or in the view of the common Bengalis, the people of Bengal, it was Nawab who was the actual ruler. But in actual sense, it was the company who was the actual ruler. So power lay with the company and responsibility was lying on the head of Nawab. This was diarchy. Power was being enjoyed by the company, but in the view of the common Bengalis, or you can say the people of Bengal, the responsibility was falling on the head of the Nawab. So this was diarchy. Power with someone and responsibility on the head of someone. So this is diarchy. And this diarchy system continued under. Are they clear? So this diarchy system continued under Robert Clive, Verest and Cartier, starting from 1765 to 1772. 1765 to 1772. And Robert Clive did another thing as well. He sharply increased the rate of land revenue. It was almost doubled. And Robert Clive gave the right of collection of revenue to Indian officers, while European officers were simply given the right to supervise the Indian officers. But there was a lot of corruption, because in that you can say power was lying with the Nawab, power was lying with the company, and Nawab was simply a puppet head. He was simply enjoying the responsibility at that time. So a lot of corruptions set in. It led to, you can say, exploitation of the people, the ejection of the too much tax and burden of too much tax on the people, and finally you can see it led to the famine of Bengal in 1770s. And this misgovernance of Robert Clive and his successors would create the famine of Bengal of 1770s, and this famine led to the elimination of almost one-third population of Bengal. So for that, Dak is notorious. So this is the case. My friends, in 1772, it was Warren Hastings who came as a governor first, and then he became the Governor General. So it was Warren Hastings who directly took the responsibility of the administration. He just terminated Dar King, he expelled Nawab, and he completely took administration of Bengal into the hand of the company. So it was Warren Hastings who took the administration of Bengal into the hand of the company, and in this way, you can say, he carried a lot of administrative reforms. So my friends, this diagram I have just mentioned, so this is going to mention about his reforms. First of all, he just tried to bring some reforms in revenue system. In revenue system, there are the two types of revenue. One is the collection of duties, that is the one type of revenue. Another is the land revenue system, what is known as the collection of land revenue. So in revenue system, you can see he just standardized the rate of the tax. The rate of the duties 2.5% of the total cost, that is the rate of the duties. And at a certain point, the tax had to be collected, nothing more. For example, Dhaka, Murshidabad, Patna, Hooghly, Murshidabad, Dhaka, Patna, Hooghly, Calcutta. So at 5 points, the duties would have been collected. As for land revenue system, he introduced the farming system. What is farming system? So in fact, the collection right of the land revenue was given to the highest bidder. हाईएस्ट बीडर मींस कि जो सबसे अधिक बोली लगाता है, मतलब लोगों को कहा जाएगा कि भाई आप बोली लगाइए, मतलब यू हैव टू स्पीक कि तुम सबसे ज्यादा अमाउंट ऑफर करेगा, तो जो सबसे ज्यादा अमाउंट ऑफर करेगा उसको हम कलेक्शन कराएंगे. So the right of collecting revenue was given to the highest bidder, and it led to the exploitation of the peasants. It was a very wrong method he developed. For 5 years he introduced this system in 1772, that is called the 5-year scheme, and whosoever was quoting the larger amount, so that was given the right for collection of revenue. मतलब ये कॉमन सेंस की बात है, जरा सोचा जाए. मैं आप लोगों को हिंदी में बताना चाहूंगा कि भाई आप किसी को राइट देते हो, बोलते हो जो सबसे अधिक टैक्स दोगे उसको मैं कलेक्शन कराई दूंगा, तो जो सबसे ज्यादा टैक्स का प्रॉमिस करेगा वो टैक्स कहां से लाएगा? किसानों को, पीजेंट्स को एक्सप्लॉइट करेगा, उनसे पैसा ऐंठेगा. इससे क्या होगा? एग्रीकल्चर का डिक्लाइन होगा. इसके कारण पीजेंट्स खेत छोड़कर भागेंगे, तो इससे पूरी की पूरी एग्रीकल्चर गिरेगी. तो ब्रिटिश कंपनी को भी अल्टीमेटली लॉस होगा. तो उसने वही गलती कर दी, उसने फार्मिंग सिस्टम को इंट्रोड्यूस किया. तो उसका जो एग्रीरियन सिस्टम है, एग्रीरियन रिफॉर्म से और कर सकते हो टैक्सेशन रिफॉर्म्स, दैट इज नॉट सक्सेसफुल, वो सक्सेसफुल नहीं बना. लेकिन हाँ, उसका जुडिशियल रिफॉर्म सक्सेसफुल बना. तो कहोगे वार्न हेस्टिंग्स ने जुडिशियल रिफॉर्म्स में क्या किया? He created two hierarchy of courts. At district level, he created district court, district civil court, and district criminal court. In district civil court and district criminal court, because you know at that time, as he tried to maintain the Mughal administrative structure with certain modification. So under Mughal, you can say for civil justice, there were dual laws. Dual laws means for Hindus, Hindu laws, for Muslims, Muslim laws. But in criminal justice, there were uniform Muslim laws. Muslim laws were being applied for criminal justice, and for civil justice for Hindu laws, and for Muslim laws. So he maintained in this way. So in civil court, it was the district collector. District collector was given the right to preside the civil justice. The collector was at that time, at the time of Warren Hastings, district collector was performing dual duties. On the one hand, he was the head of the collection, and on the other hand, he was the head of the civil justice. He was playing the dual role at that time. For criminal justice, for example, in district criminal court, it was the Muslim expert, Qazi. He was presiding the court because the laws were the Muslim laws, so Qazi was presiding the Muslim court. In this way, you can say in criminal justice, it was the Qazi. Above district court, there were two courts, Sadar Diwani Adalat at Calcutta, Sadar Diwani Adalat at Calcutta, and Sadar Nijamat Adalat. So Sadar Nijamat Adalat was the criminal court, and Sadar Diwani Adalat was a civil court. So from district court, the appeal was made to Sadar Diwani Adalat and Sadar Nijamat Adalat. In this way, he maintained the hierarchy of courts. Third thing, it was Warren Hastings who did a lot for codification of laws. What was codification of laws? He came to realize that the Muslim laws and Hindu laws both are in use, but there are no standardization. They are not any specific code of laws. So better to make the code. So he employed some Brahmins, some Pandits. And with the support of Pandits, he could have codified the Hindu laws. And with the support of some Muslim ulemas or Muslim qazis, he could have codified the Muslim laws. It was at the time of Warren Hastings, you might have heard about some code of justice. What was the code of some judicial code? Some judicial code, code of Gentoo laws. Name was code of Gentoo laws. Gentoo laws means Hindu. At that time, Hindus were called Gentoo. So code of Gentoo laws, whole books digest. So he did some sort of, you can say, codification of laws. So such reforms were made by Warren Hastings. Now, my students, now will come the era of Lord Cornwallis. You find Lord Cornwallis was a great innovator. No, not innovator. Sorry, he was continuing with the process, but he came to India in order to strengthen the British control over India, because now India had lost America. So, British lost America. The British were trying to concentrate over India, and to strengthen the British control over India, he carried a number of reforms, police reforms, the modern Thana system, then civil services reforms, then judicial reforms, and finally you can say permanent settlement, what you know as you can say, land level reforms. But my friends, the reforms of Lord Cornwallis are very comprehensive. So within the limited time, it will not be possible, and my time is almost over. Now I am compelled to stop here because after that I have to engage myself in Hindi class as well. So presently you can say after 10th, from 10th onwards, you will have the dual pressure, the pressure of history and that of geography. So then even you will be comfortable. And my friends, here my point is, if tomorrow I will do one thing. You can say I will now engage you in the class on Monday because your class is from Monday to Friday. And but I'll say extra something tomorrow. Mr. Ankur, have you sent them the book list? Yesterday I have told you. My friends, tomorrow I am just sending you the book list. Some of you have just inquired from me how to read the books. So I will give you the book list. On chapter by chapter I have given you the advice. If you people are willing, you can go. Then you can go through the list. But first of all, my advice is go through NCERT book class at first. Then industrial field also I will send you. But it will involve at least one class. For example, permanent assessment reforms, then the economic and social policy, the bigger economic policy will not take time. But I have to make you understand Orientalism. That is the last one. So it can involve one more class because I have to deal with the question as well, some question as well. So after that I will start industrial field. But the next class I will involve you and I will engage you on Monday. Any question? On which basis? Bhavna, on which basis? What is the criteria? Because both are having the expertise in both the other fields. As a military officer or military general, even Warren Hastings and Lord Cornwallis both are equally good. But as an administrator, Cornwallis was better than Warren Hastings. So you can say in some total you can say Cornwallis was having a larger image than Warren Hastings. Because Cornwallis is given the credit to have done a lot in India. But my students, one of the questions I will ask you later. Robert Clive was the founder of the British rule in India, but it was Warren Hastings who consolidated the British rule. So there is a question. I will later give you the question. Today you will solve this question. Then I will in the next class I will give you that one question. Okay, my students. I will see you on Monday, and then I will send you study material. Tomorrow I will send you a book list. Okay, thank you very much.